are going to get started here in a few minutes, everyone. We're just waiting. We're just waiting for a few more people to arrive, and the proceedings will start very shortly. So I appreciate your ongoing patience. It'll just be a few minutes. And just while I have the microphone here, can everybody hear me in the back of the room? Yeah. Clear? Okay, thank you. We'll just be a few more minutes. Thanks. we are having some navigational challenges with a few things. Enya's birth family have been listening to the proceedings, so we're just going to be a few more minutes, and we'll maybe listen to a bit of music beforehand. So just a few more minutes, and we'll wait their arrival. So thank you. everybody take their seats. We're just 3 minutes out, apparently, from starting. So just a few more minutes. I apologize again on behalf of the family. I sincerely apologize for the delay. And if you just want to get sorted out and find a seat, and we'll just be a minute here, the family will join us. So thank you. And how's the sound at the back? Is that okay? Can everybody hear? Good. Okay, thanks. If I could ask everyone to rise as the family makes their way into the hall. Thank you. Please be seated. Once again, I appreciate your patience and fortitude as it's been quite thermal in here as we wait for the important family members to arrive, so thank you. I first want to welcome everyone today. Good afternoon. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Randall McKay, and I have the great honor of standing before you today to open this celebration of life. Enya Isabel Wolf Hines. Let me first express the family's sincere and heartfelt gratitude for your presence here today. We are gathered today because life did something unthinkable. It took Enya from us far too soon in a moment none of us were prepared for, and that none of us will really ever fully understand. We gather with heavy hearts to celebrate the life of Enya, a beloved daughter, niece, friend, colleague, and bright light in so many lives. Today is not about minimizing the tragedy that brought us here today or making sense of the pain. It's about honoring who she was, the love she gave, and the impact she made, because love and memories do not disappear when someone is gone. Enya Hines was only 24 years old when she passed away, but she lived life deeply. Enya was never afraid to tell anyone what she thought, and those who knew and loved her wouldn't have wanted her any other way. Her honesty, strength, warmth, creative expression, her mischievous sense of humor were all part of what made her so special. She touched people through her kindness, her humor, her passions, and the way she showed up for others. And in moments like this, it can feel almost impossible to put into words what she meant. So instead, we will do what we can, share stories, speak from the heart, and remember her together. Over the course of this celebration, we'll hear from several people who knew Enya very well. Friends, teachers, coaches, and family. And after each speaker, we'll provide a brief moment of reflection. Because that's what a celebration of life is for. It's not really a goodbye, it's a promise that will keep living in the stories we tell about her, in the people she loved, and in the small habits and phrases and laughs she left behind in all of us. First Nation and Tsuut'ina Nation, and the many other First Nations whose footsteps have marked these lands. It is only fitting and appropriate that we begin the service this afternoon with an Indigenous blessing, the Indigenous history of the Blackfoot people, their sacred teachings, and their cultural heritage. He remains deeply committed to preserving and transferring traditional Indigenous knowledge with younger generations and with people worldwide. Elder Treffy Deerfoot, thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm really honored to be here today. I am a ambassador for my community and my people. We lived in our wintering months in the Banff corridor, from Fort Macleod to the northern part to go through this corridor. We were displaced from our territory and we ended up in Spitzy, High River. And that was our last camping ground before we found and negotiated treaties to be on reservations. I'm here not only as someone, this hat represents leadership in my community, so I speak from a good mind. The eagle feathers represent the master above the ground. The ermine skins represents the master under the ground. The horse hairs on top represent the animal above the ground, the master above. You know, ironically, we see these race cars and we spinning around when they win and they open their hood, ironically, horsepower. Lastly, these plumes here are found on the hip of the eagle. And what this hat represents is a halo. If we look into a dictionary or encyclopedia, I don't know if we still use that. I think we got Google now, guys. But we're able to see these saints. And we have to make good decisions for our people. And so I don't take that very lightly. Today, I stand before you as a grandfather, as a father, and many adopted relatives that I've taken as my children because I've mentored men and I've done a lot of being a coach in all of my life. I've given back under the name Deerfoot. The Deerfoot Trail was my ancestor. And in all of that, I saw a image of this young lady, Enya, and I saw to her soul. I saw a beautiful young lady. Then I started to read stories about her jumping with horse. Saw a picture of her with a dog. I saw her being with that tree of life in Zimbabwe. That spoke to me. I've been to a few of those places. But the thing is that my mom passed away last year. And when my mom passed away, I still had to go feed and water the animals. And when I went out, I put hay down in the bins, and then I was going to put oats on the ground. And usually the females are the first ones come running. They want to get their pat down, eh? But that morning, my mother passed away, and I was out there before noon, and the stallion was not letting the females come around me. So they went off to the bin, and that animal put his shoulder over my back and started to pat me. He was patting me. How a mother pats his baby. That's love. I know that love. I know that love from my grandparents and my mom. And so that animal touched me and made me feel warmth, not from another human being, but from a creator that loves us. A creator that created the animals. The animals are our greatest teacher. You know, and they rely on us. We were built out of 2 buffalo bones, sinew, clay, buffalo blood, and the Creator 4 times breathing into us. I find that phenomenal. If the Creator breathed into the first man 4 times, we are Creator, because our first breath came from our Creator. I find that very astonishing and amazing. So I just wanted to share that story because it's been difficult. You know, I still think of my mom every day. She brought me into this world. The woman has the greatest honor of bringing life into this world. And as you, as women and mothers, aunties, grandparents, you hold a significant role. You're the glue of all of this. So I share these stories with you. I have many more stories. I do this for a living, guys. But I just wanted to say I'm really honored, and my heart goes out to all of you, because people are put in our lives to be teachers. Enya right now is in a better place than where we're at right now. We still have struggles to do. We still have lessons to learn. She's over there celebrating at a young age. We got to think positive. We got to think about hope, that we'll see her again. We got to think about love. Love is the one that puts all of that together. If we don't have hope, love, and faith, we're going to have tough times in our life. I think that's why we go to church. We just finished our Sundance last week. So, you know, that's part of our being, is to celebrate some higher power that's going to be taking care of us after this life. I just want to sing a song to you, an honor song for this young lady. And then my dad gave me the song. It's a prayer song. And I'll sing, after I sing a song, I'm going to say a prayer in my language. I believe that language transcends beyond the boundaries of these walls, beyond the boundaries of whatever language or whatever separates it. Uniquely, language is because the ancestors, my ancestors were here, hundreds, and more evidence is coming out. You just have to go through these caves around here to see what they've etched into the stone. So in your own way, join me. I always go to a happy place when I hear the song. Yo, can I get that water? Yeah. This is my very lovely assistant, Vanna White. Yeah.
Are you singing an honor song first? Or
No, just a prayer.
just a person. Okay.
Ako kana suka pianksiku yaamki enins taamaiksa. Oki kun kita hikeeto kawa tuita piani utanua. Kispomu kita amksi utuksoksi utsita piimiksa. Ako kansi se päätä pio paka sukapi. Oki tahatskni pinana misami päätä piisni tama pio is päätä pio. Next guest sisumi. Next game it's tukapassiksi kuuseks nessukuusnaanes. Nuhkanäks tuotan annan stapissukapi misami päätä piis. Kimmaatumuket kahkanessian kannitsi uusen. Noks pumukit naatuita. Joo, misami päätä. Kive pustui naapios. Hai. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Deerfoot. I would now like to call upon Mr. Steve Sellers. Steve is a pastor and renowned sports chaplain at Athletes in Action, and husband of Enya's high school volleyball coach, Deb Sellers, who we'll also hear from shortly. But Steve, if you come. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that. I too would wish to speak of our Creator who loves us so deeply. There's an ancient Hebrew text that's actually a psalm, and many of the psalms were put to music and sung, but I will not be singing mine. I can never follow that act. But it reads, "The eyes of the Lord are toward the righteous, and his ears are open to their cry. The face of the Lord is against evildoers, but the righteous cry out, and the Lord hears and delivers them out of all of their troubles. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." And I'm sure that last line describes many who are here today, brokenhearted for sure, and many probably also crushed in spirit. But there's promises there. That is, the Lord is near. He hears our cry. He delivers those that are brokenhearted, and he saves those that are crushed in spirit. So he is with us, carrying our grief and delivering us as we move on. So it is for this reason that we come together in prayer at this time. So I invite you to bow your heads with me and join in prayer. Let's pray. Lord God, you know the grief that fills this room and permeates every heart. From you come life-giving springs of living water. But sometimes our cups are filled with bitter water. And Lord, we don't often understand these hard-to-swallow times. But we do trust you. And we even cling to you, especially now. You've told us in your word to draw near to your throne of grace with confidence, so that we can receive mercy and may find grace to help in our time of need. And Lord, our time is now, and yet we know that you are intimately acquainted with grief because your son drank from a bitter cup himself in the Garden of Gethsemane. And God, you know the pain of loss because you watched him give his life for us. He gave his life for us on the cross, that we could be forgiven and have the sure hope of eternal life with you. Lord, please teach us to number our days. Teach us to number them well and to tend to our eternal souls. We thank you for the gift of Enya's life and the very unique person that she became. Lord, we entrust her to you now, and we just pray for sustaining grace each day to deal with this difficult loss. We pray in your son's name. Amen.
Thank you, Steve. We will now proceed to hear how Enya touched the lives and hearts of her many friends, old and new, through shared memories and her lasting inspiration of how she and her friends lived, loved, and laughed together as they all came of age. First, we will begin with a short solo violin performance by Enya's friend Avery Rennie. Avery, if you could come up, please, thank you.
Sorry guys, I'm a little nervous. Thank you, Avery, for that moving performance. It is now my great pleasure to introduce Enya Young, Michelin Carmody, and Talia Wingenbach. These remarkable young women grew up with Enya from a very young age, and in conversations with them, they have many tall but true tales to tell. So if I could have you come up to the podium, thank you.
Hi, my name is Talia, for those who don't know me. I was closest to Enya through middle and high school. I miss Enya, and that might sound a bit odd because we hadn't really talked or kept in touch in the past couple years. The last time I even saw her in person was 2 years ago at a New Year's party in Banff. But I remember how excited I was to see her, how I was having a pretty dull evening up until that point, but when we connected, it changed. She was beautiful, as always, all dressed up and done up, but it put my jeans anyways to shame. But we gossiped and chatted and danced to Ring in Another Year as if no time had passed and we were still thick as thieves. That's what I remember from that night most of all. I remember Enya. So even if that's the last time I saw her and hugged her, I'm still devastated that that moment can never happen again. The first time I crossed paths with Enya was actually when we were in Girl Guides. We were both new to the program and went through it together, getting all our badges and tenting and all that fun stuff. I can't tell you how, but we very quickly knew we liked each other. And for one night every week in the Scouts Hall, we spent the entire night together. I did Girl Guides for 3 years, and she did 2, and it wasn't the same when she left. But luckily, the year after I finished Guides was also the year I changed schools, and lucky for me, even as a shy kid, my big new scary school had Enya, and it was barely October before we were best of friends again. Enya was so quick to include me and take me under her wing. She brought me up to speed on what public school kids were doing. I had a short bob at that point and some bangs, and she immediately told me I had to grow up my hair. She was right, that's still how I wear it. And then I got Snapchat and Instagram at that point too, so we were able to send all those silly pictures back and forth. Rounds, and all those hundreds of selfies that Snapchat deletes after 24 hours that now I really wish I could still have, even though we both look ridiculous, and she's probably happy I don't have them, because it would be blackmail material, and that would be very bad for me to have on her. But I'll never forget those moments, like running to Rusticanas at lunch to get a koala cone of candy, or watching Just Go With It and laughing so hard our stomachs hurt, although the candy might also be to blame there. Or how we were both 2 of the 3 grade 9s who participated in an exchange that went less than smoothly, but allowed us to travel across Canada together. I know she played a role in my life and touched so many other people around her who feel her loss so deeply. She left far too soon and has so much more to offer, but I also know she lived her life to the fullest, traveling, seeing the world, getting out there and meeting all kinds of people, and just generally taking in every opportunity. I'll admit I admire her for it and know that her 24 years were full and she lived the way some people can only hope to. I will remember Enya as a friend, someone who would make you laugh, who you wanted to go on adventures and make memories with, an amazing girl who I'll miss and hold close to my heart. I'm really lucky I was able to call her my best friend, even for a short time.
Hi everyone. I had the incredibly joyful, but honestly, sometimes angsty, privilege of growing up with Enya since I was 7 years old. It's funny, I don't actually remember the day we met. My earliest memory consists of her saying, "Hi Michelin," in the hallway to me in grade 1 because we were in different classes. And I would respond, "Hi Enya." I would like to say that everything was smooth sailing from there, but that would be a lie. 2nd grade had us in the same class, but I truly think that we fought with each other every single day of that year, to the point where our teacher suggested that we shouldn't be friends several times. But to this day, I feel totally triumphant that we always ignored her suggestions. Enya, there is no one word to truly describe our friendship. I didn't get to see you much these past couple of years. Living in different provinces, it's easy to get lost in your own interests. But that doesn't mean I didn't think about you often. Since living together in Victoria from 2021 to 2022, our friendship, by some miracle, became a thing of comfort. Strangely enough, I found myself reminiscing about my childhood for the better part of this year, often in discussion with friends. And of course, the first stories I would tell anyone about growing up in the Bow Valley always included Enya. There was a time when we were probably around 12. We had just gone camping for the weekend to Tunnel Mountain Campground with my mom. For those of you who have been or passed through, it's quite a big campground. Sunday, we're packing up, getting ready to go, and we get into a little argument. Who knows what it was about? So my mom sent us on a walk. She said, go figure it out. So pretty much 30 seconds into that walk, we completely forgot why we were angry and just kept walking to the point where we didn't actually know what time it was. We were somewhere in that campground, and a Parks Canada lady comes up to us asking if we're Michelin and Enya. And we were like, yes. So I guess my mom had been searching for us, but we were found safe, hanging out in the forest as usual. More recently, while in Mexico on one of our shared family trips, Enya and I got it in our heads that it would be a good idea to do some karaoke. So this was at our resort, and it was in front of the entire resort in one of those nightly events that they would hold. And we, for some reason, decided to sing I Knew You Were Trouble by Taylor Swift. For those of you who know that song, not easy, don't ever do it. So Enya's slated to start. She goes first, or starts singing, and instead of words, out comes this maniacal laughter. And I tried to save face by continuing to sing, but I think it's safe to say that was an interesting experience. I'll never forget the MC following our performance, quite literally saying, "Amazing work, guys, opposite day." So we definitely kept a low profile at the resort for the rest of that trip. I think these stories really highlight some of the most important lessons I learned in our friendship: forgiveness, loyalty, and having the ability to find joy and laughter in everything you do. Our formative years are generally the basis for who we become, and without Enya, I don't know who I would be today, but I certainly wouldn't have it any other way. She left an incredible legacy of love, laughter, and compassion, not just to the people around her, but to the land and all her animals, especially Cinnamon, Noah, Merritt, Riley, and more recently, Jax. Oh, Enya, I hope you continue to exist unapologetically and that you find peace and love with your ancestors. I love you. Until we meet again, Michelin.
Hi, my name is Enya. Dear Enya, it was an honor to grow up with you and be a witness to your life. I would not be the person I am today. Sorry. Had I not known you. You showed me how to laugh uncontrollably, live fearlessly, love unconditionally, forgive wholeheartedly, and most of all, how to be a truly loyal friend. I know in the last year we hadn't seen each other much, but even still, when we did see each other, it was always like nothing had changed. And that's what true friendship is, being able to pick up right where you left off. When we reunited, we would reminisce about our early days riding together, when our riding instructor was baffled that our names were Fenya and Enya. And against all odds, we ended up going to the same school in the same town and becoming friends. Looking back, our memories were always full of shenanigans. In high school, we worked at Craig's Way Station together, and in a single shift, Enya locked the shed key inside the shed, while I locked myself in the freezer. That's probably why they didn't let us work together much after that. Our friendship through the years is full of stories just like that. We were really good at getting ourselves into trouble, but never quite as graceful at getting out of it. After graduating from CCHS, Enya, Michelin, and I moved in together in Victoria. We had no idea what we were doing with our lives, but we were figuring it out together. One day, Enya and I decided to go to the university gym together after neither of us had been for a while. We found an open spot and started exercising. But before long, we noticed we were getting some pretty strange looks. I started to wonder if we were doing something wrong, but Enya, confidently, assured me that we just looked good. Enya always had enough self-confidence for the both of us. It wasn't until later that we realized we were actually in the varsity section of the gym. Apparently, we found the one place where we looked very out of place, not particularly good. And to make matters even better, within minutes of arriving, I had to ask Enya to leave because I was convinced I had torn a muscle. She laughed her infectious laugh as I limped out of the gym, turning what was objectively a terrible workout into one of those memories I'll never forget. She was always herself unapologetically, and that is something that I truly admired about her. And I always admired how she was always there for her friends. In Victoria, I really struggled with my mental health, and there were many nights I would stay up crying. In one particular difficult night, I was curled up in a ball in her room, and to not wake Michelin, Enya brought me out to her car so we could blast our favorite songs and just sit there and cry. And she stayed with me all night, even though both of us had classes the next morning. Because that's the kind of friend that she was. She was the kind of friend who would be there for you when you needed someone to laugh with, and just as importantly, when you needed someone to cry with. And everyone deserves a friend like that. A friend who will randomly decide we should climb up Lady Mac after school in our jeans and long sleeves. A friend who will convince you to double on horseback just to get you both walked off. A friend who will get you a ride home with the Domino's delivery driver after a night out. And a friend who will make you love olives. In middle school, Enya would often go to Subway for lunch and get a sandwich with olives. She shared half of the sandwich with me as a thank you for coming along. I remember asking if she could order no olives on my half because, well, I didn't like them. Naturally, Enya looked me straight in the eyes as she told the Subway server to put on lots of olives. She was relentless, and each time after that, she would ask for even more. I got pretty used to eating olives, and now every time I go to Subway, I order lots of olives, and I always think of her. It's those little things that I will carry with me and hold on to when I think of Enya, because in the end, those memories are all we really have. And I wish we all had more time with her, more time to reminisce, to laugh, and to hear her do one more of her silly impressions. But that's the thing about life. You just never know when something will be your last time. You never know when you're making a memory for the last time, sharing a laugh for the last time, or saying goodbye for the last time. Enya was always so good at living each day like it could be her last. So let's try to be a little more like Enya. Let's remember to live fully, love fiercely, laugh often, and never take the little moments for granted, because tomorrow isn't promised, and today is all we really have.
Thank you for those extraordinary stories and tributes. Very touching. I would now like to call upon Rosie Hager and McKenna Braille from Calgary. They came here today to be with us. If you could come to the podium, please. Not sure if I see them or know them, but right in the back. Rosie? Oh, there. Is that? Okay.
I feel so lucky that I got to grow up alongside Enya and have her as a friend for so many years. When I think back on our friendship, so many of my favorite memories involve horses and adventuring around outside together. I'll always remember riding Mara and Angel around bareback at Moose Hill Ranch, hanging out at the Pony Club in the summer, exploring around Canmore together, cuddling with all of the dogs at the same time, sending it down the Double Blacks at Sunshine and Lake Louise, and camping in the mountains with our families. We had so many little adventures together, and those memories take me back to a time when we could spend hours just having fun together like nothing else mattered in the world. As we got older, our adventures changed, but we still knew how to have a good time. Instead of riding horses and running around outside, we were going out together, we were singing, dancing, laughing, making silly decisions, getting in trouble, but all the while still making incredible new memories. When I think of Enya, I think of all of those different versions of us over the years. I feel so lucky that I got to share so many stages of my life with her. From horse-obsessed tweens with no care in the world to university students thinking we knew everything, Enya was with me through it all. Enya was such a bright light, and she touched the hearts of everyone she met. I don't remember a time that I wasn't laughing with her, because she brought so much joy into my life, and she always knew just what to say, how to make you laugh and make you feel good. I miss her so much, and I will always be grateful for every adventure, every laugh, and every memory that we shared. Rest easy, sweet girl. I love you, Anne. I will cherish our friendship. I hope to ride into the sun with you someday.
Hello, for some of you that don't know me, my name is McKenna. Some of my favorite memories with Enya were the simplest ones. Our weekend sleepovers, whether I came to Canmore or she came to Calgary, or our New Year's nights filled with laughter, dancing, and somehow ending the night with the three of us cuddled together in one bed. Those are the girls' nights that I will always cherish. Enya has such a pure heart, especially when it came to animals. I loved going to her barn and watching her with her horses. She had a way of making you see the world through such a gentle and caring lens. We would talk for hours or go on late-night car rides for ice cream and just blast our favorite songs. My favorite activity was hooking up our sleds to the back of Rosie's car and going 5 or 10 kilometers an hour screaming. She was the type of girl where she would distract you from a boy breaking your heart, and at the same time create 5 new inside jokes by the end of the night. I'll always be grateful for those moments, for the laughter, the conversations, and simply getting to grow into a young woman together. Enya was truly a beautiful soul, and I feel so incredibly lucky that I got to call her my friend. I will carry our moments with me always. I love you, Enya, and I hope that you're dancing somewhere peaceful, surrounded by everything you loved. Yet to her family, thank you so much for raising a beautiful girl who has touched my life forever.
Thank you. We have 3 other speakers to say a few words. If I could call upon Kimmy Scott, Denali Peters, and Gabriella King to come to the podium and say a few words. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, I'm going to try not to have a breakdown. I'm Kimberly. I had the privilege of getting to know Enya mostly over the past 4 years. So my tribute is a letter. Okay. Dear Enya, I may not be a religious person, but I know with absolute certainty that you were, are, and will continue to be an angel in every sense of the word. Sorry. The moments we share together, no matter how crazy, fun, and wild, or beautiful, are memories I will cherish for the rest of my life. Whether it was you showing me up at the ski hill, even when you had absolutely no idea what you were doing, somehow finding the confidence to attempt dangerous tricks and successfully pulling them off while I was having a panic attack just thinking about trying them myself, or you taking me horseback riding and forgetting to tighten the saddle, and then fixing the problem, but then sprinting on the horse. I don't think my legs have ever been more sore in my entire life, and I literally couldn't walk for a week. Or the nights we spent singing karaoke at my house until 4 in the morning and until my dad would come upstairs and tell us to shut the F up. In every moment, every adventure, and every mishap, I was simply happy to be in your company. You were a kind soul, a soul that yearned to help others, even when you were going through difficult times yourself. You longed for love and compassion, and you were never hesitant to give those so freely to others. You made people laugh, you made people smile. You sang beautifully, more beautifully than most people ever knew. I vividly remember the first time you started singing in my car on the way to the ski hill. I was genuinely shocked. I remember thinking that someone with a voice like that should have gone on Canadians Got Talent, but she didn't think so. You had a personality that was spicy, and you made sure that the world knew it. The way you expressed yourself through your clothes, your makeup, your attitude, and simply the way you carried yourself was something I admired deeply. And it was a confidence that so many people spend their entire lives trying to get. Your confidence, your ferocity, your individuality, these were things that made you unmistakably you. I cannot put into words how grateful I am that I had the privilege of knowing you. You were a true blessing in my life. And through knowing you, I was also given the privilege of knowing your wonderful parents, of building relationships with some of the people you loved most, and becoming part of a little piece of the world that you created around you. That is something I'll carry with me forever. Wherever I go from here, I will take a piece of you with me. I will carry your heart, your warmth, your confidence, your laughter, and your story. I will carry the memories of every ridiculous, beautiful, and unforgettable moment that we shared. I hope you know how deeply you were loved, and I hope you know how much light you brought into the lives of the people around you. I love you, Enya, and thank you.
Welcome, everyone. Kevin and Barb, you both orbited around Enya from the very beginning, and she is so clearly at the center of your universe. My heart is with you both today, and I'm so profoundly sorry. For those who don't know me, my name is Gabriella, and I'm so blessed to be a close friend of your beautiful Enya. Thank you all for being here today, and as we hold space to remember and honor her breathtaking dance through life. Standing up here right now is incredibly difficult, but I wanted to speak today because Enya meant the absolute world to me. She was the kind of friend who didn't just walk into a room. She illuminated it. She truly made life brighter just by being in it, and I want to share a little bit of the light she brought into the world. It brings me so much comfort to think of her and my daughter Willow. Enya made Willow feel so completely beautiful and so deeply cherished. Enya saw and understood the beautiful streak of wildness reflected in Willow's eyes, a mirror of her own untamed spirit, and their recognition bonded them in a way that was pure magic. Right now, Willow is starting to process that her Princess Enya is in the castle in the sky. Enya was never one to fit into a quiet mold, so I'd like to think she's up there right now, rearranging the constellations to her liking and painting the clouds in her own vibrant, sparkling color palettes. She always marched to the beat of her own drum, and she did things entirely her own way, because if we know anything about Enya, we know she was a beautiful contradiction. She possessed the gentlest grace, but she also had a streak of magnificent, unpredictable wildness. I remember one time we were out in the woodlands after a long day of chasing wild mustangs out west. The truck was caked in thick red mud, and we had gone a whole day without a meal, running purely off of pepperoni sticks and Dr. Pepper. We finally headed to a car wash to clean off the dirt, but the moment we both jumped out, and slammed the doors, we looked at each other and realized we had locked ourselves completely out. When the locksmith finally arrived, Enya looked at him and asked if we were the first people to ever commit such a feat. When he nodded in pure disbelief, she just flashed her signature smirk and swung her hip to the side as if we had won the day. You see, she always had a way of bringing pure fun into the grittiest, most down and out situations. Looking at her, I couldn't help but jump right in with her, celebrating as if we had won a gold medal for being absolute goons. She was a beautifully untamed spirit who lived with a passionate, vibrant energy. You couldn't help but half smile at how brightly she burned, always chasing the wind, breaking the rules of the ordinary, and reminding the rest of us how to truly live. Enya was a breath of beautiful existence, and I was so deeply blessed that she chose to gravitate towards me and offer me her friendship. I've never felt more accepted for all that I am than when I was wrapped up in her magic. She taught me how to open my heart through grace, and I am forever grateful. Lately, whenever I feel like something is a struggle, or when the world feels a little too heavy, I just pause, take a breath, and whisper to myself, do it for Enya. Be fearless for Enya, love loudly for Enya, live just a little bit wilder for Enya. I'm going to carry that beautiful ideology with me from here on out, letting her light guide me through the dark.
Hi, I'm Denali. Enya was my best friend. When I moved back to Canmore in grade 12, she was the first person to introduce herself. She walked up to me in class and said something along the lines of, "Hi, I'm Enya. Do you want to be friends?" After graduating high school, we became roommates. And while living together, we bought matching friendship rings, which I still wear today. We lost touch for a bit, but as fate would have it, Enya and I ran into each other at Stampede. Reflecting back, of all the tents and all the stages, moving through the crowds of people, what are the odds that we would physically bump into each other? I looked up and there she was, standing in a beautiful sequin floor-length dress, sparkly cowboy boots that went up to her knees, and a matching hat. And from that day forward, we became best friends again. Each winter, every week, without fail, we would go to the ski hill together. We learned how to ride park together, and I think we both had consistent bruises that entire winter because we were trying to learn 90s on the rail. Another memory was when Enya asked if I wanted to ride the horses bareback in the middle of the night, and I'm pretty sure her parents were not aware of this. While riding, my car keys fell out of my pocket into the tall ferns, and Enya just had this sense to stop. And I don't know what I would have done because I wouldn't have been able to get back to my car if she didn't stop, and she found them. I just loved Enya as she was, and she loved me. We were similar in many ways, and I see myself in her, and I think that's part of why we got along so well. She lit up every room that she was in with her beauty and her charismatic personality. For her 24th birthday, Enya came up with the outlandish idea to dress up in dresses and ride the horses for a photo shoot. And if you were friends with Enya, you know that this is exactly the type of thing that you'd be doing to celebrate with her. Ironically, Enya let me wear the dress that she was wearing the day I ran into her at Stampede. We got the horses up to a gallop on the way back to the stables, and I felt so free just laughing with her. And then a week later, she was gone. I'm not the same person I was now that she's gone, and I have a long road of healing to go. To honor Enya's life, I will live for two people and carry her name with me forever. I will cherish each beautiful moment a little bit more for her sake, and for the experiences that she won't get to experience, I will live for her. This grief that we carry, it's the deepest proof that love and friendship existed.
Before we move on to our next speaker, the family has asked that I read two tributes that were submitted to the family from Enya's friends. First is from McKenna Kutzner. When I think of Enya, I think of truly the greatest friend I've ever had. I'd first met Enya in the 10th grade, specifically gym class. It was the swimming unit and we couldn't participate. I don't think our teacher loved our reasons, but she had just given herself a few new piercings and I had just gotten my first tattoo. We clicked instantly. Very on brand for us. As soon as she got her license, we raced to Calgary to get our matching belly button piercings. And there were countless sleepovers, crying and laughing over our high school heartbreaks, gossiping, trips to the mall, river walks, parties, photo shoots, and wine nights. We never ran out of things to talk about or do together. When I turned 18, Enya told me she couldn't make it to my birthday because she had to go to compete in a competition with her horses. And I was very upset that she wouldn't be there. The night of, she surprised me by showing up, and that was the kind of friend she was. She always showed up. Enya was the greatest keeper of my secrets, and I of hers. She was the most loyal friend I've ever had and I've ever known, and I will always remember her for being fiercely bold, confident, so funny, so loving, and truly having the biggest and brightest spark for life. And I'm heartbroken that you were taken from us so soon, but I feel comfort in knowing that we will get to see you again someday, and that until then, I had the honor of being your friend and have so many memories to cherish. I can't wait to see you again and to fill you in on everything you've missed. Love you forever, Kenna Kutzner. The second is from Sonia Meyer. She's a friend and neighbor of Enya. We are here today not just to mourn the loss of Enya, but to celebrate the amazing person she was and the lasting impression that she had on all of the people in this room. I had the honor of being able to grow up with Enya. Even as a kid, her natural beauty radiated off her. I remember coming home from spending hours with Enya and telling my mom how beautiful I thought she was. Yes, this beauty was of course physical, but to me it was much more than that. Enya's energy was unlike any other person I had met before. It was contagious. Her passion, her imagination was all infectious, and I was drawn to it immediately. Enya and I had known each other since the age of 3. We lived next door from each other and often participated in the classic Canmore toddler activities with our moms. However, when I think back to my childhood, my first memory of her was at the age of 8 when she came back knocking on my door to ask if I could come and play with her outside. However, when most people say play outside, it's often meaning coloring with chalk on the pavement. But no, much to our parents' dismay, our version of playing outside was often pretending to be warriors living in the jungle, which, if you could imagine, got pretty serious. We launched ourselves through forest, fell out of trees, got lost more times than I could ever count. Together we wanted nothing more than to spend all of our time exploring the woods behind our houses. We would often come back hours later, covered in dirt, with twigs in our hair and our new scrapes and bruises, showing the evidence of our adventures together. Those are some of my favorite memories of my childhood, and ultimately, it's Enya I have to thank for that. Her imagination fueled mine, and when we were together, we were able to escape to our own little world, even for just a little while. To know Enya was to love her. Her energy was passionate and contagious. Every person sitting in this room today is evidence of this energy, her soul and her spirit. I will forever cherish those memories I made with you. I want to thank you for igniting my imagination, fueling my sense of adventure, and for gifting me a childhood of so much love and laughter. A childhood that would have been incomplete without you in it. I will never forget the laughs we shared, and part of me will carry your memory through the forest always. Love, Sonia. Thank you. It's amazing tributes, I'm telling you, it's quite something. If I could call upon Emma Rissadin. Emma was a mentor and former babysitter of Enya, and she's asked to say a few words to the group today. Thank you.
Hi everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Emma, and I had the privilege of knowing Enya through the Pony Club. When my brother called me saying it might be Enya, I immediately had texted her, expecting a lighthearted, probably jokey reply, and somehow I still expect her message notification to flash across my phone. The thing about Enya is she had so much vibrance and life in her. She was full of fire, light, and of course her cheekiness. I can still picture her raised eyebrow and mischievous half smile. She was such an incredible horsewoman, a fearless jumper, but most importantly, it was her connection with her horses that was another level than most. She rode like she became part of the horse, moving together effortlessly as one. As we had some of our best times riding our ponies together, we would ride Faz and Merritt up to Fergie's to get freezies and gummy bears, to then bathing our horses, which usually resulted in me being more wet than the horses due to Enya spraying me, to simply hanging out, watching shows, doing makeup, well, mostly Enya doing the makeup. That wasn't my talent, but she sure had an eye for it. It brings me some comfort to think of young Enya running around the horse club with Heather in tow, looking for good sticks to make a bow and arrow after watching the Hunger Games, because she wanted to be just like Katniss, to ripping around the club on Sweet Merit. You have been taken far too soon, sweet girl. Thank you so much, Enya, for all the laughter, all the silliness, all the pony adventures, all of your joy, and I'm so grateful for our memories we made together, and I would cherish them always. Rest easy, sweet Enya. Run free with Heather and all of the Heaven ponies. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. It's my pleasure now to introduce to you Deb Sellers from Canmore Collegiate High School. I think just about everybody in this room here that's under 25 probably knows Deb, but Deb was both a teacher and Enya's volleyball coach for 4 years. It was a unique situation at CCHC, as many of the girls on the team were Stony Nakota from Minitni. Deb was a strong and supportive coach, and it was during this time that she helped Enya claim her own identity and to be proud of her Indigenous heritage. Deb?
Good afternoon, family and friends of Enya. I've already been introduced. My name is Deb Sellers, and it's an honor to be here with you guys to share today. From my heart as a teacher, a coach, a mom. I was watching all these girls up here, and I thought, okay, I can be stronger than that. But everyone loves Enya, and this is hard. Along with you, I was shocked when I heard about Enya, and tears just brought memories. I hear you guys talking, and all the adjectives that keep coming up are the same as things that I've said and I'm going to say in mine, because it just keeps coming out now. Her huge smile, her kind heart. As a teacher, I met Enya when she started attending school at Canmore Collegiate High School in grade 9. That would have been the fall of 2016. I did have the privilege of teaching Enya in foods, where she participated with her classmates in making actually even meals for the school. And I'm hoping that she continued that
when she got out of school. Maybe some of those roommates can let me know if that actually happened or not. She didn't continue in foods, but she went on to drama, and I know in grade 10 she was in drama and was even trying out for some of the major parts. And her friends in drama class would say that that gave them the confidence to try too. She was there to have fun, and that made it all more enjoyable for everyone who was there. But when it comes to option classes, I believe Enya's first love was art. And if you look at the back there, there are several beautiful pieces from art class, so make sure you take a look at that. She took art classes right through grade 12 and shone as an artist. When talking to her art teacher, she shared of the natural talent that Enya had and how Enya seemed to find great enjoyment in her art. Mrs. Hill said, "She did it for the love of being creative. As a teacher, it's inspiring to see a student doing something simply for the joy of it." And that was Enya in so many things, including the world of volleyball. Doing something simply for the joy of it. Most of the time I spent with Enya was coaching her in volleyball. She came up for the team in grade 9 and played every year of high school. So I have my Wolverine jacket on, but for those of you who were there when Enya was, 3 of those years, we were actually Crusaders. But I'm gonna go for the Crusader jacket because it was a little bit more time spent there and to reminisce a little bit. Our team was not a club level team, for those of you who were on it, but it was filled with girls who just wanted to play and learn the game. Games were taken seriously, but there was always room for a little fun, and a positive attitude was a requirement. My experience as a coach is that sport helps develop resilience and also lifelong bonds, and I know this was true for Enya. As a young player, I remember Enya standing on the court in a stereotypical teenage style, as grade 9. Her pose indicated that she was more concerned about how she looked on the court than how she actually was playing. But as she learned more about the game of volleyball and grew as a player, she was a force to be reckoned with, and I would not want to be on the receiving end of her left side hits. She reached high above the net, beyond what you would expect for her stature. And I heard from teammates that she even helped them work on their hitting skills as well. She became a strong defender, willing to sacrifice to get the ball, putting her best effort in for the team. She just loved to play and be part of the team. Now, any coach would want Enya on their team, not only because of her power, but also because of her passion and positive attitude. For 4 years, Enya was a committed player on our team. Game after game, tournaments in Calgary, Olds, Rosemary, Rocky Mountain House, and of course, along with Enya came her biggest fans and some of our greatest fans, her parents, Barb and Kevin. We all know Enya's parents were very much involved in her life and big supporters of our volleyball team. Kevin often drove members of our team to tournaments nearby, in Calgary or further away, patiently waiting sometimes for everyone to show up for their ride. Barb and Kevin cheered on every play. But when looking back at pictures from tournaments, one year well in Olds, I saw the whole family was involved with our team, as even Enya's dogs, Heather and Noah, made it into the team photo. We truly were like a family, including players and their supporters during the years that Enya played volleyball. That is why this loss hit so hard. When I was in contact with our family of players following Enya's passing, not only did they share stories, they sent me photos I had never seen, but they shared loving comments about Enya, including, she was a great person and teammate. It was Enya and the people on the team that made the sport enjoyable. She was such a kind soul with a pure heart. She was very energetic and brought up the team spirit. I never saw any negativity from her, even if we were losing. She was having fun. We all enjoyed Enya's company. And I know there was a lot of laughter at the practices, and Enya was always a part of that. After she graduated from high school, I occasionally ran into Enya at the grocery store or filling up her dad's truck with gas, and she would always take time to have a quick chat. Most recently, I saw her this past May, and I'm so thankful for that time. I got the biggest hug. We shared smiles with friends, took photos, got updated, and I'd never imagined that I would be here sharing today. These are some of my memories, and I know everyone in this room has their own different memories, and I'm thankful for those of you who have shared so far. These may include challenging times, times of fun, and I'm sure many of them are just joy-filled memories, so hold on to these. An ancient king wrote, "There is a time for everything, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance." And we had a lot of laughter and dancing on the volleyball court at practices.
Today we mourn together, and this is where we should be, remembering Enya together and reflecting on our own lives. I heard an elder say that each of us is given a measure of time in life. Enya's was much shorter than we would have wanted, but I know that during the times I was with Enya, she made the most of each moment, and I believe she would want the same for each of us. On the court, Enya never acted out negatively. She shared confidence. She always had a positive attitude, along with a lot of silliness, and a smile that made us all just feel good about being there. I'm proud to have coached Enya, and Barb and Kevin, thank you for inviting me to share.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you. If I could next call upon Laura Hunt, also from Canmore Collegiate High School. Laura was Enya's grade 12 English teacher, and we'll read a short story today that Enya wrote. Laura, thank you.
Can everybody hear me out back? I have to say, this has been such an incredibly inspiring afternoon, and I'm so incredibly proud of all the young people that have come up here and shared things so authentically and so genuinely and so passionately. It's been a real pleasure. And you may see me start to cry as well. I've been trying my best to hold it together. I was indeed so privileged to be able to teach Enya English in grade 12. When Enya passed, I chose to make Barb and Kevin the new caretakers of some of Enya's writing, and Barb has asked me to share some of those pieces. But no, to all my former students, your work is safe with me. In grade 12 that year, when I was a teacher at Canmore Collegiate, I had an introductory assignment to get students writing and to get students thinking and reflecting about themselves. So there was a series of questions, and they were to respond however they liked, but I was looking for their thoughts and ideas, and I've chosen 4 of Enya's to share. First question. What are some life experiences that have shaped who you are now? Enya. From a young age, I've had the amazing opportunity to be around horses. Most people don't get this opportunity, and that's made me feel extremely grateful. Horseback riding is a very intense sport, and I would say the experience of being able to manage a huge animal has definitely shaped who I am today. It's allowed me to be able to face my fears and overcome hard obstacles. It's thrilling when you ride a horse, and that feeling gives me confidence in myself and as a person in my everyday life. Question. What are some things about yourself that make you feel proud? Enya. My achievements make me feel proud. Recently, I competed at Spruce Meadows, and it went way better than I expected, which made me feel very proud of me and my horse, because that was a goal I had been working on for a while. And when I finally completed it, I felt like I could do anything. Question. In what ways have you improved as a person since you started high school? Enya. When I first came to high school, I was way more shy than I am today, and I didn't put myself out there. Over the years, being around so many people around my age, and through meeting new people, I've learned how to open up and how to step out of my comfort zone. I think high school has taught me how to be a part of the world or even part of a community. I've noticed that I'm not always thinking about what I should say next, and I don't feel as nervous about talking to people as I did when I first came to high school. High school has improved who I am as a person by teaching me responsibility. Question. What are some of your most important personal values, and how can they benefit you in the future? Enya. The biggest one I have is trust. and keeping my word. Since I was a kid, my parents taught me that my word is the most important thing to keep. And I found that this has taught me the value of trust. I am more trusting in the eyes of others if I keep my word. I think that trust is one of the most important values to have, because without it, my friendship or any form of relationship won't be as strong. The other piece I was asked to share was a visual response. Raise your hand if you remember the visual responses we did in English. You probably had this visual response. It was of a soldier during the war, and students are always asked to look for contrast when they're looking at these images. It's something that they have on their diploma, so we'd like to help them getting thinking about images as a text. And it's a soldier, full gear, and he's curled up. He's a big, strong, hefty guy, and he's feeding a tiny little kitten. And here is Enya's response. In the given image, we are shown a soldier sitting in a war zone, feeding an orphaned kitten. The image shows a clear moment of compassion, and how in the middle of death and chaos, this man is able to escape what he must face and feed this small creature. This man may be a prisoner to war, but no one is truly anyone's prisoner. Anyone's prisoner if we have hope, even if hope in this case is as small as a kitten. When we think of war, mayhem and madness usually come to mind. The man in the image is almost inevitably demoralized by war. As a human, we can only take so much insanity before reaching madness. Now, when we think of kittens, we generally think of soft, lovable animals who hold the ability to bring joy into our lives, Kittens are rarely associated with warfare, so that is why the image presented forms a perfect contrast between war and hope. To hope is to cherish a desire with anticipation, to want something to happen or to be true. In this case, the orphan kitten is innocent and pure compared to the tragic warfare occurring. The soldier might choose to nurture this small creature because to him it represents faith that such an uninvolved factor of war could survive. We all need hope in life to move forwards in life. Without it, there's a lack of motivation, and we may end up stuck in the past. Most people in the world are fortunate enough to never be in the middle of a war. This soldier represents the tragic events that are occurring. But in contrast to this, the little kitten represents innocence and purity. Sometimes all anyone needs while facing extreme hardship is a small kitten-sized bit of hope. By Enya. You can see why we teach. It's not for the fame or the wealth. Our students are such an inspiration and our greatest teachers. We have so much to learn from them. So when we are faced with extreme hardship and we know that the brunt of the grief is burdened by parents, but we can look for snippets of Enya everywhere. There are kittens everywhere to be found.
We're going to hear from the parents very shortly, but we just have a few more speakers. First, if I could have Emily Chamberlain come to the podium. Emily was Enya's supervisor at Chez Franc Restaurant. It's a local restaurant here with a fabulous reputation, and she'll share a a couple of brief remarks. Thanks.
Sorry, just one sec. Enya brought a special light to Chez Francois. Her beautiful smile and bright eyes could light up a room, and when she was in her zone, she was truly incredible at what she did. Enya also had a special talent of showing up just in the nick of time. There were days when we were completely in the weeds, wondering how we were going to get through the rush, and suddenly Enya would walk through the door for her shift. Somehow, it always felt like she knew exactly when we needed her most. She had incredible intuition and noticed the little things that made a huge difference. She saw what was needed to be done and just did it. She was great at her job, but most importantly, she was loved by the people she worked with. Her free spirit, her humor, her big smile, her love for horses and skiing, and the genuine connections she made with people around her are things we will always remember. One of our favorite memories will always be seeing Barb and Kevin come into Chez Francois for breakfast while Enya was working. They weren't just there for breakfast, they were coming to watch their daughter. They could to see the pride in their eyes as they watched her work. It was beautiful to witness. Enya was more than an employee to us. She became part of our Chez Francois family, and she was taken from us far too soon. From all of us at Chez Francois, we will miss you, Enya. The busy mornings won't quite be the same without you appearing just when we need you, while there's coffee filters mysteriously being ready to go. We hope your beautiful free spirit continues to run wild. Rest in peace, Enya. We will always remember you.
Thank you, Emily. Our next two women who are going to speak are what I would describe as local Canmore royalty. It's my honor to introduce Cheryl Metro and Sue Faulkner March, who will both reflect on their relationship with Enya and her time as a member of the Bow Valley Riding Association. Thank you. And we'll begin with Cheryl Metro.
Hoi. Can you hear me? Give me a wave if I need to speak up. Thank you. My name is Cheryl Metro. As I look around this room, a saying comes to mind. It takes a village to raise a child. You are Enya's village. My husband Bruce and I have been members of the Bow Valley Riding Association for 40 years. That's where I first met Enya. I held her in my arms. She was 3 weeks old. We watched Enya grow up. She was a quiet, reserved child. At age 8, she became our hired hand at the riding club. What that meant was that she fed our horses and did chores 2 evenings a week, all under parental supervision, until such time she grew in confidence and in height. You see, she had to be tall enough to be able to reach the lock on the hayshed door. She aged out in her teens. That's when we first became aware of fashion and makeup trends. She excelled at both. There were Barb and Kevin, encouraging, supporting, and guiding her. I saw a young girl working to figure out where she belonged in the world. One place Enya belonged was on the back of a horse. An image I have is of Enya and a friend going out for a ride, smiling and laughing. Another image I have of that smile is when she got her learner's permit. She was so proud behind the wheel of the vehicle, and I gave her the big thumbs up. She flashed this huge smile, and it occurred to me, that face is so small. How can it manage that great big smile? Several months ago, I noticed a change in Enya. I told her I felt that she had a new level of confidence and that she seemed grounded in taking care of her life and her own decisions, making her own decisions. She was brave, focusing on her future, and committed to self-care. When I heard that Enya died, I went into a shock. I was stunned. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I couldn't make sense of it. I wanted answers. Where did this happen? What happened? How did this happen? How could this have happened? Why did this happen to her? As if having details would make the outcome any different. Barb and Kevin. I wish I had profound words to ease your grief and pain. Look around this room. This is your village too. We are your village. Friends are like stars in the sky. You don't always see them, but you know they're there. And I leave you with that.
Hello, everybody. So I'm reading this as a representative of the Bow Valley Riding Association, sort of giving you a sense of how things were for Enya at the Bow Valley Riding Association. She was part of the association from a very young age. It was here that she first learned to ride. For many of us, it was a joy to watch her grow up, surrounded by horses, friends, and familiar rhythms of the horse paddocks, as well as at the arenas and barns that she spent her winters at. Barb and Kevin lovingly supported Enya in all her horse endeavors, which brought her so much joy. Enya was a happy, social, full of life young woman who loved animals dearly. There is something very special about the bond that forms between a child and a horse. Enya, in my experience, had an intuitive gift that was, to a degree, that is really rare, I think, for communicating and connecting with them. It was kind of magic, what I had seen. Enya grew up riding her family's horses around the club, in the arena, and on the beautiful local trails. It was the kind of childhood so many young girls dream of, one filled with freedom, connection, and the quiet understanding that comes between horse and rider. Her love of animals extended far beyond horses. Enya also had two beautiful Sheltie dogs. One summer, she built them their own miniature horse jumps and delighted in watching them jump over her creations. That was Enya, imaginative, playful, and always finding ways to include animals she loved in everything she did. Just recently, Enya took her family's horses down to the river, as we've heard previously, and had a friend take some beautiful pictures of her with them, all dressed up. Some of our members recounted that Enya was so happy to show them those pictures, a simple, joyful moment, and a very precious memory now. For those of us at the BVRA, Enya will always be remembered as the little girl who grew up here, surrounded by horses, friends, and community that knew her from childhood to adulthood. We are so grateful that she was part of our lives and will remember her with great affection. Our hearts are with Barb and Kevin and the rest of Enya's family and with all who loved her. And I need to add something at the end that's just me. Ride like the wind, Enya, ride like the wind.
As we've heard from many of the speakers today, horses were a big part of Enya's life. And I think it's appropriate we have a final word on this from Chris Franson to say a few words. She was a riding instructor, horse trainer, and riding coach for 11 years and helped Enya come of age with these beautiful animals. So thank you, Chris.
As soon as I'd see Barb and Kevin, couldn't hold it together. But my name is Chris Franson, and I had the pleasure of teaching Enya for over 10 years. I watched her grow into a beautiful young woman and a talented equestrian. She was always eager, and she always treated every horse with kindness and respect. She started out riding her quarter horse merit at Rocky Mountain Show Jumping and other local shows. As she became more advanced and needed a more challenging horse, Riley came into the picture. The two of them flourished together, whether they were training at home, riding in the mountains, or competing at shows. Enya was always focused, determined, and most importantly, enjoying her time in the saddle. I remember attending a show in Edmonton. Enya was always so calm and never seemed nervous, regardless of the height or the challenge I put in front of her. She trusted me, and I trusted her. She had a quiet confidence that came through in her riding. As a student, she was simply the best. She listened and learned and took everything she was taught and applied it to her daily riding. Watching her progress over the years was incredibly rewarding. I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to be part of her journey and to watch her grow, not only as an equestrian, but as a person. Enya will always be remembered for her love of horses, her dedication, her quiet determination, and the special connection she had with the horses she rode. She was truly one of those students who leaves.
Thank you, Chris. We have one final speaker from the family of Noah Shirley McFall to come up to Enya.
My Vanna has to arrive. Fond memories of Enya to all of you. It's been an amazing afternoon. I really appreciate the attention and consideration and emotion and love that you've all expressed. In Enya's extended family, I was referred to as Auntie Shirley, and this is Uncle Carl, who came on the scene a little bit later. So we moved forward with strong friendship and a vibrant interest in horses. Barb's first pack trip with me was into the Panther area. 24 years ago in June, shortly after Barb and Kevin brought their daughter home, I was asked to care for their new. Of course, this included dog, cat, horse, fish, house, and anything else that needed caring for. This provided us with a lot of enjoyment and laughter as she matured. She loved her dogs. I remember being amazed at her intense interest and memory of elephants. At an early age, she knew the types of elephants, where and how they lived. After her recent Africa trip, I asked her what was her favorite part of the trip. Her response was riding with the giraffes. Animals were non-judgmental. We have many wonderful pictures of our time sharing Christmases, Thanksgiving, camping, birthdays, 2 weddings, and anniversary celebrations. Our good times revolved around dogs, horses, and nature. Enya had her first mountain ride at age 1 when the family joined me camping at Hummingbird. Of course, the ride was just around the campsite. One spring visit when Enya was around 6, we'd all saddled up our 5 horses to ride the trails of the McFall Ranch. This was my family's property in eastern Strathcona County. Carl was leading Enya on Lee when his horse lost her footing on ice and went down. No one was hurt, but independently, Lee kept going with Enya hanging on all the time, dodging a dragging lead shank. There was a little bit of adult panic about this, knowing we could not safely catch him and should not race after him. We patiently plodded along the slippery trail to find Lee back home in the corral with Enya standing beside him holding the reins. I told her she did really well riding by herself and asked her how she got off. The answer was, she just did a fire on the mountain. Okay, what's a fire on the mountain? She went on to explain it was how to do a safe emergency dismount. She had remembered some training from a summer camp at Eagle's Feather where they were taught when and how to do a safe emergency dismount. This showed an incredible confidence, trust, and connection to horses and riding. A year or so later, we gathered at Etherington, South Kananaskis country, for a camping and riding outing. Kevin, Carl, and Enya wanted ice cream back at the store, so the 2 horses got saddled up, with Carl riding and leading Enya, and Kevin hiked behind. On the return trip, after filling up on ice cream, the horses came back on the trail while Kevin caught a ride. In the trees on a warm day, Enya must have dozed off, or maybe she was opening a chocolate bar and distracted. So when Carl told her to duck because of a low-lying branch, she did not respond. Kerplunk. Off the back of Cajun, on her bum, in the middle of the trail, wailing. After the tears were dried and the shock stopped, she was told she needed to pony up and continue, which she did. She was game for almost anything, everything, but she wanted to go back. Her neighbor, whom I also worked for, loved having her around. His name was Vic Newman. Enya had trouble remembering names, but in her mind, she related Vic to Bic, and fashion sense, even if we, the adults, did not like the style. The last time Enya and I to find a fabulous, so Enya red was to wear it as a fashion statement at the Banff ski juring event a few weeks later. This never happened because of the traffic congestion, meaning she couldn't get back to Banff. Enya had her challenges, but shone through with creativity as an artist, writer, and fashionista. She had to have the fox stole from the thrift store. The skills she had in makeup artistry could have put her in a professional movie makeup job. Barb and Kevin were incredible parents, offering her tutoring to complete grade 12, lessons of all sorts, opportunities around the world, and she had many really big adventures for someone who lived only 24 years. Enya grabbed a big part of our hearts over the years. We will miss her free spirit, craziness and excitement. I know she is with her favorite dogs in heaven, smiling on all of us today. She is at peace, having left a crazy, mixed-up world behind. Love to you always, Enya. If I might indulge in another minute, another email came through to me which I thought you might appreciate hearing from a longtime family friend of Barb's and mine. Heard from Shirley about the sadness over Enya's end of life. The loss is huge, no matter how, where, or what all led to that. Guiding a child along the path of smooth and rocky terrain is a responsibility you two took on with great generosity, infinite patience, and sound principles. I'd say many hearts along the way and in all kinds of dynamic settings came with it. You navigated through it with everything you had. Hope is a beautiful dimension. She signs off by saying, with a squishy, enduring hug, love, Christine.
For context, Fernie is an elected council member and respected community leader in the Key First Nation band located in southern Saskatchewan. In loving memory of Enya Hines by Fernie O'Soup, her time with us was far too short, Enya lived life beautifully, full of love, purpose, and discovery, chosen as a newborn baby by her parents, Kevin and Barbara. She was surrounded by a great unconditional love that carried her through school, all the way to her proud graduation from grade 12 and onward to her university journey in Victoria, BC. In her 24 years, Enya walked a path of profound truth, discovering her deep roots as a Saulteaux Dene First Nation woman. She reconnected with a powerful legacy, tracing her lineage directly to her great-grandfather, Dean Gordon, then her great-great-grandfather, Chief Glenn Tom O'Soup of the Key First Nation, and 5 generations back to the historic orator, Chief Louis O'Soup.
And her mother, Melanie, who came here today. Kimberly came from Vancouver. Kimberly, you gave life to Enya, and you and your mother and aunt chose us to be Enya's adoptive parents. I am forever grateful to you for choosing us and giving us a chance to be parents. What a wild ride. Thank you to the other members of Enya's birth family that have come today. Thank you to my family, my mother, and my family in Winnipeg who cannot be here today, and my brother Robert who is here today, that you held Enya for all those years. Thank you to Randall McKay for being our MC today, to Elder Deerfoot, to coming to speak today to acknowledge Enya's Indigenous heritage and to her strong connection to the land and animals, to Steve Sellers for spirits or solace to us all, and to all of friends, Enya's friends, teachers, coaches, and adult friends who came to celebrate her life today. Thank you to Norja Vanderleest for helping with the beautiful presentation you're going to see today, the audiovisual, hospital visits, organizing the lots of helping hands, smoothies, spiritual and human support. Thank you to Brenda, Eric, and Sarah Osman for friendship, visits, guidance, and organizing this day here at the Nordic Center. To Dallas, Michelin, and Philip Carmody, who organized the Repose of the Soul service for Enya, and to the long-standing friendship, and to Fenya Young for her long-standing friendship. Thank you to Pam Hennifer for all her support, guidance, and love over the many years she has known our family. Thank you to Auntie Shirley and Uncle Carl, Don and Debbie Gilmet, niece and husband, Kevin's brother Ron Smith for jumping in the car and coming to Camrose a couple of times to provide support to Kevin when I was in the hospital. Thank you to my friend Carol Stark, who came running when I called And thank you to Georgina Rennie, who was there to direct and care for me as I fell ill. Thank you to Kevin's brother Mike and niece and husband Cheryl and Kent from Ontario, and nephew Brad, who came from Quebec to be with us. Thank you to niece Karina and great niece Jen for driving from Camrose to be here. Thank you to everyone who made the drive and took the time to be here. Thank you to all the ladies at the Pony Club who took care of the horses without any questions. Thank you to our workawayer, Annalie Domas from Germany, who came, even though circumstances had changed here for us. She came anyways. She said, I can be with you in your grief. And she took care of our horses. Thank you to the entire medical team at the Canmore Hospital, the exceptional care at Rocky View Hospital in the first go-round, and the care at the Foothills Hospital in the second go-round. Thank you to the RCMP, who's shown our family deep care and respect in our grief. Thank you to her more recent friends, Avery Rennie, Kimmy Scott, Denali Peters, and Gabriella King, and her beautiful 4-year-old daughter, Willow. You all watched out for her as you could, and she got to be with her beloved Willow. Thank you to Emma Brissenden, like an older sister. And to Fenya Young, Michelin Carmody, Kenna Kutzner, Rosie Hager, McKenna Braille, and Sonia Mayer, who were tried and true friends in the earlier years and never stopped making me laugh with all sorts of antics. Those of you who knew me well know that my daughter Enya meant everything to me. And I tried to go to the ends of the earth and beyond to help her and be with her. I love her. I loved her with a fierce passion when she was here, and I love her with that same fierce passion as I let go of our lives here together. As a little girl, she was curious, inquisitive, and all over the place. She loved to do things with people, and she loved to be alone. She would cry to go see Michelin and Fenya, and then spend hours alone, working in the basement on her barn's toy horses and fashioning blankets, saddles, and horse tack out of leather, fabric, and ribbons. She loved her art and crafting. And in high school, she wanted to play volleyball and was on the green team, as Deb said, with her friends from Stoney First Nations on this team, and learned about being Indigenous, not through books, but by being a friend to those girls. She loved them. She loved going to school, dance, swimming, art classes, and riding. When she got to be 11, we made some choices, and she was the first to say horses and lessons, and so it began. But she also insisted on volleyball, so we made it all work. Much of our time as mother and daughter and family was at home in everyday routines, wonderful travels, or involved all things horse and dog. There were also mice and voles, but they never made it into the house. There were many hours driving in the car to the barns, to competitions, to events, to clinics, shopping for horse tack, clothing, and toys, and going to relay races and rodeos. She even convinced me to do a horse vaulting clinic when I was 66 years old. And off we went. She did amazing, and so did I, and we celebrated by going to Olds to buy new cowboy hats. Summers were spent in the peace at the Bow Valley Riding Association, with the horses on the trails, trailing up to trails, camping, and working for others and doing horse care. She also attended abstract summer volleyball camps for 4 years and took in the salt sailing trips for 4 summers between riding and volleyball camps. The Pony Club was her happy place, and many hours were spent there from birth till she graduated high school, with parties, picking Saskatoons, and just taking friends out. She competed in hunters and jumpers for about 11 years, and about 3 shows a year on her horses Merritt and Riley, and her beloved coach, Chris Franson, and did her last show at the age of 20 in Leduc at Amberley Meadows. It was less frequent around the horses after that, but this year she was back, taking care of our new horse, Jax, and taking friends down to the river in their long black evening gowns. As Sue Marcha said, Enya had a very intuitive way of working and riding horses. She had countless lessons, and it was her deep connections with horses that made her a beautiful rider. I could see the communication with the horses was very tangible and real, and it translated to them, and they trusted her. Sometimes when things got a little crazy, I would watch as she remained calm, and then she'd calmly comment afterwards, "That was a Jesus take the wheel moment." Which was what Chris used to say when she would take those wild jumps at the barn. She could ride anything Chris put her on and always had a smile on her face doing it. I am so grateful to have had the time and resources and Kevin's unending support to have had this time with her with horses and as a family. On Father's Day this year, all three of us went out on our 3 horses for the first time ever, because normally Kevin would be riding a bike and the 2 of us would be riding the horses. She shared her love of horses with her friends and wanted others to have this great feeling too. She had a great work ethic. Cheryl says 8, but I thought it was 12. And did the manure shoveling and horse care at the Pony Club for a number of years. She also worked at Craig's Way Station on the weekends in high school, the old-time candy store where probably every kid in Canmore worked, and for a couple of summers at the Drake, and her favorite place was Chez Francois. From a teen, she had a keen interest in art, painting and sketching, fashion and makeup, and did a few photo shoots for Wear magazine over the years. She was very creative and saw her face as a canvas to paint. She completed a makeup artistry certificate at MC College last year and was hoping to go forward in this career. Enya was equally comfortable wearing a ball gown, hair up, makeup to the nines, and red rhinestone Taylor Swift cowboy boots, as she was wearing an old ripped up hoodie and leggings and shoveling manure. She was a magician in the thrift store, and many of her clothing and accessories came that way. The transformations between glamour queen and barn worker kept us hopping. Last October, we had the trip of a lifetime to go to South Africa, Zimbabwe, Botswana with the Ostman family. She finally got to see the animals that she used to name in the alphabet when she was a little girl. E for elephant, G for giraffe, H for hyena, and Z for zebra. We toured for 2 weeks marveling at the animals, and she got on with all the old folks on the tour. At the end, Enya and I broke off for a horse safari, which landed up being the most incredible mother-daughter time together. We laughed, cried, rode, ate, and were pampered by the hotel staff. We were given great care by the rangers of the Independent Mounted Patrol Unit Anti-Poaching Unit, and they gave us an education in wildlife conservation while we rode tracking animals and poachers in the game reserve around Victoria Falls. We spent much time around wild giraffe and rode into a herd of elephants, rode above the gorge above Victoria Falls, and collected crystals on the land. On the last day, she spotted the old sterculia tree, and I will read what the rangers wrote about that day. We knew her for such a short time, only 4 days, and it was a time full of joy and laughter. It was the most memorable of safaris we have ever had. Her immediate rapport with the land, her respect and understanding of the environment and its trees and animals, her sense of it, and her wonderful relationship that showed with her mother Barbara. It was beautiful to see. The sterculia, a magnificent ancient hollow specimen, Enya's tree. She saw it and was quiet. She touched it, and then she laughed and asked if she could climb it. Enya had a beautiful manner. She stood on Ranger Mopani's shoulder and climbed. And when Enya jumped down into the nest of the tree, it was strange. She was calm. Yes, this was right. As if she understood and knew that tree. That stillness, understanding, was very special. Later we came to the water hole, and it was the hottest time of the year, so she asked if she could wet her hair, being mindful of respecting the water. When she was given permission, no mere splash, Enya plunged her whole head in, threw it back, the arc of her magnificent hair and water spray catching the sun with all of our laughter. I followed suit and plunged my head in too. In Zimbabwe, we often name landmarks after people, experiences, or animals that have made an impact on us. The joy we felt that day was a gift to us all. The Rangers have used the name Enya's Tree ever since that day, and we have asked Barbara if it would be okay to make it official. So that tree will be named Enya's Tree and will be officially landmarked on our combined anti-poaching unit in Zimbabwe Park's online maps when describing any incidents. We were so fortunate. Your loss and sadness, this must seem unendurable at times. And we hope in time it will heal and the joy and light of Enya will remain. Ave atque vale, which in Latin means hail and farewell. Allison Baker, Head Ranger in PA Anti-Poaching Unit, Ranger Unit, Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe. I saw Enya, all of her, the struggles and the successes, the laughter and the tears, the grief, the overwhelm, and the joyous while abandoned. She took on life and lived it to the fullest with perseverance and grit. There was so much that was not easy for her, and that never stopped her. She was just starting to peek around the corner at maturity and self-responsibility and healing when she died. On the day she died and I became ill, I saw her cross over the Rainbow Bridge. I was under the water, and the rainbow was above the water, shimmering. Human footsteps ran across, and dog footsteps ran across with her. And I knew in my heart, as my girlfriend Carol was there, that Heather, her old dog, had come to help her cross the Rainbow Bridge. A few days later, while being in the hospital, I saw her sitting on God's knee. She was laughing and giggling like Enya would, and she had little bronze wings. They were a little singed around the outside. And she looked at me and she said, "Oh, hi, Mom." She said, "Look, I got my wings." She said, "I know they're not gold, they're just bronze, but I'm really happy with bronze." A white eagle feather was dispatched up to the north by a friend of mine to the Dene ancestral territories and set free on a lake in northeastern BC so that her spirit would see it and find her way home to her ancestors. I know she is okay. She's completed her work here and has moved forward in her soul's path. I believe that souls live on and life on here is the temporary part. It makes sense to me as I feel her around me. I now have a felt sense of understanding of the saying of love lives forever. My heart is full of Enya, although she is not a physical part of my life anymore. I feel both alone in myself without her and full of my love for her. Miss you every day, Enya, and I know you're here. The joy that came to me when you came upstairs to have a bowl of soup, do the laundry, or I could listen to your singing as you went out the door to feed the horses is still with me. And I miss those moments as your human mama. I've not yet understood the fact that there will be no more memories made in human form, and that will be more for me to learn. They say the pain of loss transforms you if you don't run away from it. I'm trying not to run away from it. I count myself fortunate that I've had you for 24 years to be your mom. It was full, rich, passionate, and I'm the better for it. As she used to say, love to say, and always painted, love you to the moon and back. I love you, my Annie.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for their heartfelt talks today about our daughter, sharing their memories. So I've got a few stories here about Enya that I want to share, and then I have a poem that I wrote. So from a young age, Enya learned to speak her mind if I asked too much of her. When Enya was 9 or 10, I planned for her and I to do a mountain bike ride on the Legacy Trail to the Cascade Ponds. Since it was her first longer bike ride and I didn't want it to be too far or too hard, we started at the halfway point. Bart dropped us off in a truck with our bikes and we rode to Cascade Ponds. So she dropped us off and we had a fun ride to Cascade Ponds. The day was still young when we got there, so since this part went well, I thought it would be a great idea to continue to Johnson's Lake. And I told Enya that it wasn't too far or too hard. And we could go for a swim when we arrived. So climbing the first hill, and with Enya giving some pushback on my plan, it occurred to me that I had only ever gone to Johnson's Lake in a car. And the distance seemed not too far, and it certainly wasn't hard. So, well, after a couple of meltdowns, then, I hate you, I'm never riding with you again! Then with a promise of ice cream, we made it to Johnson's Lake. Enya was serious about her fashion, yet she could laugh at herself whenever it didn't quite go to plan. So when Enya was about 14, we attended a wedding in Manitoba. And after the ceremony, we had to drive to the reception on a farm in the country. We parked in a gravel parking lot, but to get to the reception, we had to walk across a large expanse of lawn. It had been raining a lot, so everything was wet. Enya was wearing a nice long dress and high heels, and as she stepped from the gravel onto the grass, her spikes sunk right up to the bottom of her shoes. She was a bit stuck, and she started to laugh, as did we. She tried to take a few steps, but decided it was better just to take them off and walk in her bare feet and carry her shoes with clumps of grass and mud hanging from the spikes into the reception. So Enya had style, and she wore it proudly. She also lived in the moment, and keeping track of time was more of an inconvenience. Enya and I had planned a trip to the Galapagos a couple of years ago, and whenever I started these trips with Enya, I kind of knew that, I'd lay out the plan ahead of time so she could think of it and we could actually get there, hopefully on time. So I explained that we had an early flight leaving at 6 a.m. in the morning, and so we would leave Canmore at 6 p.m. the night before, get a hotel room. We'd go to a hotel in Calgary, have dinner, go to bed early, and leave early the next day. She replied, "No problem, Dad." Yeah, that's fine. But I would remind her a couple of times as we got to the date that this is what the plan was. So those who know Enya know she lives in the moment. So at 6 p.m. on the day we were to leave for Calgary, she texted to say, "I'm coming." Then 40 minutes later again, "I'm coming." Then by 8 p.m. she texts and says, "I have a ride to the airport." So I go to Calgary, I have dinner, and I go to bed, and I'm waiting for Enya to come into the room. And at 12:45, Enya arrives at the hotel. She gets quietly, goes to bed. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, I call her to wake her up. She goes to the bathroom to get ready. 15 minutes later, she comes out, makeup on, hair done, a nice skirt, a bit short for Dad, stylish leather jacket, and red stiletto high heels. I was kind of speechless, but I didn't want to slow the momentum, so all I could muster was, "Don't you think you would be more comfortable in running shoes?" And she said, "No, Dad, I'm more confident in high heels than runners. and we left for the airport at 4 a.m. to start our trip to the Galapagos. And she walked through the airport as proud as could be, and she didn't really care what anybody had to say about how she dressed. And you can ask the Osmonds about that. So I wrote this poem. You heard a little bit about Enya's tree that they named in Africa, and it's on the little card that we had at the front door. And so I called it Enya's tree. So this is a story about Enya's tree. That really began before even she came to be. Her ancestors from millennia ago established the roots from which she would grow. We were brand new parents with little clue that you survived the first day was a miracle too. As a baby, you were special. You captured our heart. We could see early on you were mischievously smart. You grew through the stages of crawling and walking, and then to the point you couldn't stop talking. It was fun to watch the magic, as I recall. Through meltdowns and laughter, we saw it all. Your school years were busy with learning and fun. You made friends easily and learned a ton. Volleyball and horses took the rest of your time, and with those pursuits you did just fine. It wasn't all fun. We argued too, but having hard times is how we grew. We were a family. We always made up. We could put it behind us and forget our blow-ups. Your close friend could see it. Your close friends could see it, and so could we. Time spent with you was so carefree. Your easy laughter and infectious smile. We all loved you, Enya. There was no denial. Your extraordinary gifts relate to the natural world. It's here that your roots really unfurled. Your incredible writings and amazing art stirred the deepest mystery that sets you apart. In Africa, you were drawn to an ancient tree. It drew you in close, so with it you could be. In touch with the power of ancient times, you added it to your other tree climbs. The stricular tree is old and wise. Its quiet power opens your eyes. The roots are sturdy and hold it straight. Enya, your chance to climb it, it couldn't wait. The rangers were laughing, and you were too. They felt the power of you being you. High in the branches so you could see, you touched them, Enya. They called it your tree. None of us want to say goodbye. The journeys we've had together has made us laugh and cry. Enya, we love you, but your spirit is free. May your soul rest peacefully beneath Enya's tree.
On earth I'd rather be. Here I am, it's just me and you. Tonight we make our dreams come true. It's a new world, it's a new start. It's alive with the beating of young hearts. It's a new day, it's a new plan. I've been waiting for you. Here time has come. Yeah, here we are, still going strong, right here in the place where we belong. Oh, it's a new world, it's a new start, it's alive with the beating of young hearts. It's a new day, it's a new plan. I've been waiting for you. Oh, here I am. Here I am. Oh, here I am. Come on. Here I am, this is me. There's nowhere else on earth I'd rather be. Here I am, it's just me and you. Tonight we make our dreams come true. Oh, it's a new world, it's a new start, it's alive with the beating of young hearts. It's a new day, it's a new plan. I've been waiting for you. Oh, it's a new world, it's a new start, it's alive with the beating of young hearts. It's a new day, it's a new plan. I've been waiting for you. Here I am. Here I am. I'm right next to you. And suddenly the world is all brand new. Here I am. Here I am. But I'm gonna stay. There's nothing standing in our way. Oh, here I am. Here I am. This is me.
In the shadow of the mountains where the rivers run so free, a young girl grew with laughter in her heart and in her dreams. She could ride beneath the open sky, her hair out in the wind, leaving kindness in her footsteps everywhere she'd been. She spoke with trees and horses, found her peace among the pines, on the trails around Lake Agnes, where the morning sunlight shines. And every soul who met her carried something of her light, a brighter heart, a warmer smile, a memory held tight. So ride your horse into the sun, any ride on home, past the peaks and painted skies where wild spirits roam. Your laughter echoes through the hills, your love still carries on in every trail, in every breeze, though we wish you'd stayed so long. Ride your horse into the sun, where golden rivers run, forever young, forever free, beloved daughter, shining one. She chased the world with open eyes and wonder in her soul, holding sand crabs by the shoreline, watching watching sea lions roll. She sat beside the giant turtles in the Galapagos sun, finding magic in the moments that so many leave undone. She kissed banana slugs in summer, sailed the rainforest sea, rode with rangers through Zimbabwe, where the wild giraffes run free. She loved the lonely dogs she found in places far away, and somehow made the whole world feel a little less afraid. So ride your horse into the sun, any ride on home, past the peaks and painted skies where wild spirits roam. Your laughter echoes through the hills, your love still carries on in every trail and every breeze, though we wish you'd stayed so long. Ride your horse into the sun, where golden rivers run forever young, forever free, beloved daughter, shining one. From volleyball courts to riding rings, from mountain trails to distant seas, you filled your days with courage and grace and lived a life that still inspires me. To Riley married Jacks who wait, to Cinnamon and Noah too, the love you gave remains behind. 1,000 hearts still carry you. So ride your horse into the sun, Annie, don't look back. The mountains know your spirit now, along each winding track. The dead earth sings beneath the stars, the forests call your name, and all the lives you touched with love will never be the same. Ride your horse into the sun, where endless mornings gleam, forever 24 and free, forever part of every dream. And when the evening settles soft on Canmore's mountainside, we'll find you in the golden light, forever there to ride. Your smile remains, your story stays, your love is never done. So ride your horse into the sun, dear Annie, ride into the sun. things are fully fledged, you never had to try. Leaves and all the flowers would hear our song, calling out sometimes we could get along. You never know how someone's feeling, you never know what they do. Loving them through the pain and the best of virtues too. Just knowing you has been a gift, I hope you feel that it's true. Free now in the sun, flying with the other ones.
Magnificent, thank you. Okay, we'll conclude here, and there'll be a short reception at the back of the room for you to visit further with the family and friends. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
You're amazing. I had to rush it, but you know. Yeah, it was long. It was long. But that's okay. You need to go through this process. I mean,